Alright people, welcome back. So, I'm going to be reacting to Asmongold's reacts. First of all, this is going to be a trippy one. This is going to be a really trippy one. This is going to be a reaction to a reaction. This is like an inception inside a inception inside an inception. We're going 3 layers deep on this one. I'm reacting to Asmongold reacting to the uncertainty of the future of MMOs by WillE. I've never even heard of this channel, so this is going to be a new one for me as a guy coming into the MMORPG space, being Final Fantasy 14 being my first MMO really ever. So this is going to be like a learning experience for me. I've actually found Asmongold through Final Fantasy 14, weirdly enough. I mean, apparently he's like a huge World of Warcraft streamer. I actually looked into some of his older like WoW stuff. Funny enough, I also, like, when I was a younger kid, I also picked up like the original classic what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to use it like the wrong terminology for it. Like the original like box set, like original WoW classic set for my PC, but I was so new and small and like brand new to like computer games that I didn't fucking know how to install it on my PC. Like I had no idea, because at that time I was still, you know, a youngin. You know, I was still playing around with Nintendo, and at that time I kind of got like a PlayStation. So I was a console peasant basically. So I actually, I don't know where I put it. It's somewhere in my room. I wish I had it so I can like actually show you guys. It's somewhere here. It's around here somewhere. It's probably in the freaking garage. But I have it. I freaking have it, man. It's somewhere around here. But nevertheless, this is gonna be a reaction inside a reaction. So we're going layers deep in this one. So sit back, get some snacks. This is gonna be a fun one. So let's get into it.
It was 1991.
Okay, we're good. We're good.
The first graphical MMORPGs had started to appear. Of course, this was before the term MMORPG.
All right, I'm trying a new style too. Like hopefully, like this will be like a cool kind of, like, you know, video inside a video format.
So I actually found in my old room a binder of my mom's notes from a video game from like the 1980s, and like character information from like way back then. I felt like I literally found like the Dead Sea Scrolls or some kind of shit. Yeah, I gotta show you guys this thing, because I even pulled it out. I showed her. I'm like, what is this? Like, what is that? And she's like, oh, that's an old game. It's like Dungeons and Dragons. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't even know she knew any of that stuff. And like, it turns out, yeah, my mom had some of that too. Yeah, like that was unbelievable. I think it was a game called Adventure, if that's what I remember right. So whenever I see something like this, I think of whenever I was growing up, and like, again, King's Quest. Holy shit, that's a throwback. Adventure on Atari? Maybe. It's hard for me to say. Like, we used to have an Atari. My mom had an Atari, and I played it. It was mainly my cousin Mike that would play it a lot more than me.
Yo, sadly, I never even had an Atari.
Basically, like, he's about, like, 10 years older than me, give or take. We've got some pictures, like, playing on the Atari back in the day, man. Like, those were the good days, man. I'll tell you one thing. Those were the fucking good days. Oh, my God.
To use at dungeons, evolving past only text and now into 2D sprites and animations to show what kinds of activities your adventurer was undertaking. Simple in its scope. Create character, assign stats, fight monsters, buy, sell, and rest. But it did so much. This was a time when things were moving beyond pen and paper, beyond simple text. Now the imagination was transferring what people have been talking about and typing over to reality on our thick CRT monitors. A humble beginning for what would eventually become a titan genre amongst gaming.
Those are the good
days. The 90s was the time when many new and successful titles would release, including Lineage, Asheron's Call, EverQuest, and more. What these games shared is that they took the idea of moving things from text to visuals and expanded upon it,
this is
having
EverQuest.
open worlds, more ability to interact with players around you, a wider variety of enemies, taking the steps.
It's like,
you know, well, I mean, I hate to pause right here, but damn, man, like, I really wish that I actually got into more of these, like, old school MMOs, man, so I can actually have some more, like, actual background knowledge on it, because all I really know is, you know, Final Fantasy 14, World of Warcraft, Guild Wars. Is that an MMO? RuneScape, like Elder Scrolls, like the newer ones. Like, that's really like my knowledge is like so limited. So like this, hopefully like this will be like an actual like really like a learning episode for me. So like that's why I really decided to do it, because I really enjoy games like this. Like just the actual progression of, like, you know, making a character, going through the world, excuse me, voice cracked here. Say it with your chest. And, you know, just questing, building, crafting, you know, just that freedom, like, is great. Like, what else can you say? Like, it's great. And of course, you know, not all, and I'm pretty sure not all MMORPGs are built the same. So there's that.
like a lot of people don't really understand, like, you talk about like games from way back in the day. People don't really understand like how impactful and how meaningful it was. The fact that you could just like interact with somebody in real time that didn't live next to you. Like, it was just like such a shock that this was even a thing, right? You play with a dude and he's somewhere else in the world. It was huge. Like, now it's something you take for granted, right? But it was just like, that in itself was a value that you could even do that.
2D to 3D, and truly beginning to create online worlds where players could fully immerse themselves into. Coming into the 2000s is where things really began to take off on a worldwide scale for the MMORPG, with the previously mentioned Lineage and Ragnarok Online taking the East by storm, while the West was gripped by
I'm gonna be honest, guys, whenever I saw these games the first time, I said, fuck that. These games look like absolute dog shit. There's a reason why I never played any of these early.
Really? I mean, like, this kind of reminds me of like Elder Scrolls Online, like the kind of layout of it. Like, no lie, like this kind of reminds me of Elder Scrolls Online. This looks like Elder Scrolls.
MMOs. It's because I thought they looked like trash. They played like trash, and there's a reason why I didn't do it. Okay, like they were awful, absolutely awful. People remember it. They say, "Oh, this was a really cool game. This was a great game." But then you go back, it's like, man, dude, I remember the Ocarina of Time graphics were like, it was like real life. That's how good they were. And you come back and Epona is 5 triangles. It's like, wait a second, maybe I was just 9.
PvP-centric titles such as Dark Age Camelot and Ultimate show me any thread about when
bro, how do we fucking do it, bro?
And there will be somebody regaling you with their tales of Dark Age of Camelot.
Yeah, that's S-Fan, by the way.
UK-based Jagex started a small game called RuneScape on a Flash browser, and EverQuest
just a little game.
got a sequel. By this time, the steps made by the games of the early 2000s have been ramped up significantly. Better interfaces, more detailed graphics, advanced character creation, bigger worlds with more to see and more to explore, and there was choice too. There was so much choice of what you could play at this point in time. And then in 2004, Blizzard Entertainment decided to move from RTS.
I'm telling y'all, like, WoW compared to, like, WoW in terms of, like, its graphics and innovation was, like, in my opinion, it was, like, the biggest jump that you could ever fucking make. It was, like, it played better. There were no loading screens. It had, like, better, like, lag than, like, many other games. Like, it was just head and shoulders over every other fucking game. And, like, the truth is that, like, there are very few games. I think back, what is another game that made that massive jump that it was just so definitive? Like, Smash Brothers Melee, Halo 1... Like, it's Final Fantasy X. Like, yeah, Final Fantasy 11, Final Fantasy X. Yeah, like, that's the thing is, like, what is a game that, like, Half-Life 2, maybe. I'd say not Half-Life 1. Half-Life 2, I would say so. Oh, man. But, like, there's so few of them. There's so fucking few of them that you remember each and every single one of them, even if you didn't really play them that much, is that Super Mario 64. Unironically, Super Mario 64 is a great example. Super Mario 64 was like head and shoulders over every...
I mean, are we just talking about like just games in general, or are we just sticking to MMOs? I mean, if you have to throw in San Andreas, you know, at the time. I mean, I know a lot of people said, what, GTA 3? Wait, what GTA was? What GTA was that? Hold on. See, now it's gonna bug me. Now it's gonna fucking bug me. What GTA was GTA 3? Cause I don't think... Did I play GTA? I don't think I played GTA 3. I don't believe I played Wait. Wait, are you talking about chronological order or... No, I don't think I played GTA 3. No, yeah, I didn't. Okay, see, GTA 3, that came out in 2001, okay. Huh. Yeah, okay. San Andreas, let's see. That might be, okay, that came out in 2004. What? That might be too far of a time skip from when WoW came out. So I don't know if you can put that in that loop. I don't know if he's talking about just that time, like that actual time, that actual, you know, that time space, like the actual year. I mean, but I'd say San Andreas. I mean, someone said Battlefield 3. But see, I don't know if he's like just talking about just games in general or just sticking with MMOs. I mean, but we're just talking about games. And yeah, I mean, yeah, you gotta put San Andreas in there, man. Like, that's a classic. Damn, what else? Jeez, man. I mean, it's been so long since I've played like any old games. Let's see. Someone said Super Mario 64. All right. Left 4 Dead 2. I never played that. I'm gonna put fucking Fortnite. Get the fuck out of here. Huh. Man, what other games from that era? Fuck. I mean, off the top of my head, like, see, I'm getting games from like 2010 and up. Shit. Like, see, watch. I'm gonna play the video, and it's all gonna start coming to me after I play this video.
Every other 3D game. Like, what do we have 3D games before Super Mario 64? Fucking Sonic CD? You had like a few little maps where you could move around. Like, you had a few like Sega Saturn, Sega Genesis shit. Not fucking really. Like, it was like, the N64 was huge. Like, people still play Super Mario 64. And like, WoW was like that
it's
game
a classic
that just took MMO to the next level. Like, it took it from being like just this thing to being like the thing. Like, it was, people, I think a lot of young people especially don't really understand or respect how groundbreaking WoW was. It was unreal.
And have a go at this MMORPG thing that seemed to be pretty popular.
Super
now, for
Mario
me, the
3
first
was another
MMO I ever
example.
played was RuneScape
It's
2.
huge.
When I first logged on that and saw that you could fish a shrimp and burn it, make my own bronze dagger from scratch and
I
shoot
actually
arrows at
did this.
abnormally large rats, it blew my mind. I was running about it.
Bro, I miss playing RuneScape, man. Like, listen, in middle school, man, that's all I fucking played. I miss playing that shit. I miss playing. Listen, I remember back in the days when I had like to go to like the PE. I remember skipping my PE class to go in the fucking library to play RuneScape. Well, I remember man. I remember that shit. Man. Cause like dead ass, I'll be honest, man. I was one of those kids, just like every other kid. I was, you know, one of the smaller kids in the class who got picked on, who got bullied. you know, it's just one of those things. So I remember in one of those instances PE was one of the classes where it happened. So I would always fucking go to the library, and I would always log on to RuneScape. That was my like escapism time, bro. I fucking remember that shit, bro. Like it was yesterday. Like it was, man. I need to build a PC, man. I need to build a PC. If I had the funds, man. Shit.
In this world I knew nothing about as
I missed
very
that
own
shit,
creation,
man.
with dozens of stats to master and a map that I had no idea where it ended. I thought this is surely going to be the game for me forever. And then I saw that
and I bet it's changed so much.
And like, bro, the thing is with like these cinematics is like, again, the cinematic was so far beyond anything that we had seen for a video game cinematic that like it felt like, you know, like whenever Lord of the Rings came out, and like you thought after Lord of the Rings came out you could never watch another fantasy movie the same for like the next 5 or 10 years because like the graphics and the CGI, a lot of it wasn't CGI, but like just like the effects of Lord of the Rings was like so far above and beyond anything that was on the market at that time. Like, that's what Blizzard cinematics were. And what's so crazy, still, bro. But the thing is, like, you go back and you watch even a Warcraft 2 cinematic, and you see how rudimentary that is. It was the best. Like, you saw those boats sailing up. You said, oh, shit. That shit looks real. Those are real boats. That's what 9-year-old, 8-year-old, 7-year-old Asmongold thought. That's real boats. It's a long time ago, but these, like, I'm telling you again, like, all I'm saying is, like, the WoW cinematic, like, Blizzard cinematics, like, I feel like Blizzard, like, you have to, like, there's, like, an apex or, like, a plateau where, like, there's a diminishing return of, like, how good a cinematic is, where, like, now, Blizzard still has, like, I think the best cinematics, like, these type of cinematics, but, like, a lot of other companies have gotten to that level now. It's the same with, like, other levels of, like, CGI in, like, movies. Like, many other places have that same level.
I mean, I mean, I don't know if that's just his bias talking, or I mean, hey, listen. I'm also biased. I mean, I can't. Again, Final Fantasy 4. It's my first MMO, so I don't know if I can really speak on that. But fucking China has copied Square Enix's cinematics. China has copied Square Enix. Have they copied Blizzard? Well, I need to... To my knowledge, they haven't. If I'm wrong, leave it down in the comments. But to my knowledge, they've copied Shadowbringers. Frame by frame. They didn't even try to hide the motherfucker. Like... I mean, maybe at the time, maybe that's what he's saying. At a time, you know, yeah, Blizzard was king. But nah, bruh. Not anymore, bro. But again, maybe that's just my biased side talking. But what I have seen, cinematic wise, I mean, that's not a knock at Blizzard. I mean, but I don't. But see, it's hard because you also have to take into account League of Legends, which that also really got me wanting to play League, but that's also on PC. And I hate that the fucking cinematic always looks better than the actual game. It's like, man, why do you guys make this just do a fucking gameplay, man. Don't make fucking cinematics. Then you boost my head into thinking, okay, this shit is gonna look fucking incredible, man. Like, then you get the actual final product, and it looks like ass. It's like, oh, don't do that, man. I don't know, but I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if Blizzard is still king when it comes to cinematics.
Like, Blizzard might be a little bit better, but like before, it was just night and day.
Pulled off in 2004.
I mean, look at this
so
shit, bro.
far ahead of its time. It's
Yeah, true.
absolutely unreal. I literally could not believe what I was seeing. The only problem being is not only did you have to buy the game.
In all respect, I may just have to go back and look at some of the old cinematics from Blizzard and judge it from that time in which they were made. So maybe that's what Asmon is just saying. Maybe, you know, from just that time, they were just king. And maybe in that respect, then hey, yeah, I'll just agree, because, you know, of course back then Blizzard was king. So yeah, I'll give him that.
You actually had to sub as well.
That's the only
How
thing
did
I
so
knew
many
about it.
teenagers worldwide convince
You had
their
to pay
parents to
monthly.
do this? I will never know. I know I certainly got my money's worth out of the level 20 trial, but the sheer success of WoW has cemented itself as a legend in gaming, and there was no shortage of attempts to recreate what Blizzard did back in 2004. Very few succeeded. You know what Blizzard has historically been good at doing? Taking something that's good and making it better.
Yeah, that's the thing. Blizzard never good at making their own ideas. They're never good at like thinking for themselves. It's like Blizzard saw Team Fortress 2. They said, okay, yoink, that's called Overwatch now. Blizzard saw League of Legends. They said, yoink, that's Heroes of the Storm now. Wasn't too good, but it is what it is. Warcraft, by the way, I think a lot of that was yoinked from Warhammer. And yeah, it's like they just yoinked that shit and they did it better. Like, that's the thing, is that Blizzard was never that good at coming up with their own ideas and their own paradigms. They were just good at seeing what somebody else did and be like, okay, well, we're better than them and we're just going to do that. They were good at analyzing why something is good and then making it even better. Magic the Gathering, yoink, that's Hearthstone now. Boom, there it is. What was Diablo copied from? Original Diablo 1. What was even before that? Yeah, I'm trying to even remember, like, Ultima? Like, I mean, that's the thing, like, Baldur's Gate, maybe? Fate? I never played Fate. Gauntlet, they're probably like, yeah, it's like Gauntlet. Maybe it's, like, Gauntlet Legends at that time hadn't come out, so we're talking about, like, original Gauntlet. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't play a lot of those, like, really early on, you know, like, dark dungeon crawler games, because my mom, she didn't want to have me play fucking Diablo. I mean, it's literally got the devil on the front cover. I mean, like, how are you going to buy... It's got the devil on the front cover. Of course you're not going to play that game. There's no shot you're going to play that game. It's got the devil. He's right there. So I never got a chance.
Yo, that's crazy, man. Him and Zeppela had the same story about their mom not wanting them to play Diablo. That's freaking crazy. I don't know. My parents never had an issue with me playing you know, like kind of like dark games. I'm kind of fucking offended that they didn't. Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, I don't, yo, I'm kind of mad, man. Like, well, yo, I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to feel about that.
Or casual friendly. In 2004, World of Warcraft was a casual friendly MMO.
Oh,
in
yeah.
others, when you died,
Absolutely.
you would lose XP, levels. Sometimes you would have to go back to town and retrain your skills.
Yeah.
What happens in WoW is your screen goes grey and you have to run for 8 to 10 minutes because why the hell is there only one graveyard in Ungora Crater?
That's about right.
What WoW got right has been a format that has stuck. An
Yeah.
MMORPG template, if you will. Pick your race and class, do your quests, grind your levels. Lots of quests will be kill and collect. Different gear rarity dungeons. You've got some PvP. We have a little bit of PvE in there too. Micro menus with characters and stats, bag slots, and so on. The only real changes in other titles are how combat is handled, being action versus tab, player's point of view, top down or third person, and the long-term progression path of horizontal versus vertical.
Bro, I'm gonna tell y'all something, like that boss fight, fucking whatever it's called, that boss fight, this is the least fun boss fight to do.
That's
like, of
New World.
all the New World boss fights, fighting this dude is the least fun fight ever. I hate this fucking fight. And if anybody has a key for it, I need to do it, because I need to get the gypsum.
Haven't really moved on beyond this. They just look a lot prettier whilst you're doing your collect and kill quest with a bit of PvE and a bit of PvP. It's not to say that Blizzard innovated every single one of these gameplay characteristics, but they popularized it to the widest audience that's ever been seen. Of course, it's not hard to find internet rain dancers predicting the inevitable death and closure of the MMO giant. They have existed since the game has itself. Blizzard is also having a really good go at making people want to quit following allegations of overly
their best
employees, in both sense of the word. And it wasn't just the quick cash grab knockoffs either that fell over too easily. Games such as WildStar from Carbine and NCSoft, which was actively, and you bet they actively publicized it as being the labor of ex-vanilla.
See, like, that's the thing, is like WildStar, WoW was good because it catered to casuals. But the problem is that those casuals, like, weren't the people that were talking, like, what's the best way for me to say it? It's like, did it cater to people that didn't realize that they were playing a casual game? Because, like, the truth is, like, if you were playing WoW and you thought this was a hardcore game, you didn't fucking play Ultima Online. You didn't play EverQuest if you thought this was hardcore. So if you even use vanilla WoW as a benchmark for hardcore,
y'all gotta send these guys back to the Shadow Room, man. Y'all can't have them working for Blizzard.
Because these games were way fucking harder, and it was a completely different fucking thing. And the reason why WoW was so successful is because it catered to casual players. And I would even go as far to say that the problems that the game has now are because it doesn't cater to casual players. And before you say, oh, but what about LFR? Think about how much time and effort you have to put into getting your character ready for PvP now at level 60 in Shadowlands versus back in Cataclysm or Mists of Pandaria. It is the difference between 20 hours and 120 hours. So compare leveling though? True. But leveling was the game back then. You understand? Like, it's a weird thing because it was a different paradigm that people had. Leveling was the game. Whereas, like, before, leveling was not really, like, leveling now is not the game. Leveling is a means to an end. There are people that, like whenever I would play WoW back in vanilla, I'm talking about 2006, whenever I asked somebody, like, oh, you play WoW too, I would ask them what level they are. You see what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't ask them what server they're on. I would ask them what level they are. Because, like, that's the way you used to play the game. It was a completely different paradigm. You actually went and did quests in the world? You did a lot of stuff. It was way different. You're blowing my mind. I mean, I'm telling you, man, it was a different universe.
The devs, they were going to take us back to the hardcore raiding era, and they had a tagline, you aren't on Azeroth anymore. Free to play after 1 year, closed a few later. But hold on.
Yeah, because it was developed, it was developed to be antithetical to WoW. Almost any anti-community or any anti-game never works because it doesn't have its own identity. Things that are the antithesis of something else are in many ways just as derivative as a phone game that clearly has Illidan as one of the heroes. Because either way, it's derivative. It's either the opposite or the same, but both are derivative.
Final Fantasy 14, that's the big deal nowadays, right? Ever since Blizzard has unloaded several magazines into their own foot, they have gradually risen to the top of the MMO market. First, running out of digital copies to sell to the colossal influx of players. Notably, this wasn't even during a fresh expansion, it was just the sheer number of people who wanted to give something new a serious look, as well as the power of big streamers and media, giving that stream a very strong current.
Ishgard.
And more recently, with the launch of Endwalker, Square Enix have taken the somewhat predictable step of halting sales to aid of the vastly overpopulated servers. Suffering from this much success as a matured...
Suffering from success.
MMO is absolutely
too much success.
And time
Pull
and
the
again, when
fucking
something
gates.
like this happens or a new MMO releases, we once again...
I think that also, like, a little bit of context behind this is that it was not just because Endwalker was good and people were excited about it. It's also because of the semiconductor shortage where they were not able to secure enough server space, and that's another big factor, right? So it's not just that Final Fantasy, had a lot of people playing it. It was also the other shit too.
Have the phrase "wow"
all that is a factor.
popularized and thrown about. In fact, when brought up in an interview, Yoshi P didn't like the idea of Final Fantasy 14 being alluded to as the WoW killer, saying both, WoW was the game we consistently looked up to. Our goal was to recreate a Final Fantasy version of WoW. So saying we won or lost to WoW is off.
And it's obvious that...
Right, I mean, both games should coexist at the end of the day. I mean, hell, I wish, honestly, with Microsoft buying Blizzard, Activision Blizzard, if you want to be correct. I mean, I honestly wish that they could port it over to console, because I feel bad that I honestly never got to play, I guess you would call it vanilla WoW. I mean, being that like I said earlier, that I had the original box set of WoW, but I mean, right now the game being so dead, and with it being as bad as it is, even if they port it over the console, I don't know if I would want to play it, because I've played Final Fantasy 14. I know what a good MMORPG is, how it feels like, and I don't know if I would want to play World of Warcraft, but I also feel like it's kind of like almost like paying homage, because Final Fantasy, again, Yoshi P looks up to World of Warcraft. It's almost like taking a pilgrimage, almost something like that. It's almost like something, I guess, if you're in that space, it's something like, not something you have to do, but something like you should kind of touch, at least once in your life, to say like, oh, I've been there, It's one of those things, it's kind of weird, but like, I want to try, like, I honestly want to try World of Warcraft, but at the same time, I know there are so many bad aspects to the fucking game, and the community is so toxic. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I honestly don't know. But yeah, both games should coexist. In both games, I mean, I do hope that, WoW gets better. I don't know how, but cause I've seen a lot of these, these content creators, Asmongold, that I've discovered from Final Fantasy, Asmongold, Zeppler, Rich, Preach. I mean, I don't think Preach is, not Preach, fucking Rich. I don't think Preach is ever, why do I keep saying Preach, man? I don't think Rich is ever going back. Like, he's fucking happy. Like, he's engulfed in Final Fantasy. But even if, but I sometimes do, see the pain from, you know, Zeppelin, you know, she also misses, you know, WoW. I mean, I understand, you know, being that you put so many hours and so many years into that game. But you know, Rich, he's happy. Oh, he's smiling like a Cheshire cat, man, with the bunny girls and everything. He's good. That man, his hair is growing back. He's good, bro. He is happy. That man is happy. Oh man. But yeah, man, I mean, there can be healthy competition, yeah. But yeah, they don't need to like butt heads. They don't need to attack each other. Yeah, none of that.
They did that. It's obvious that they did that. If you look at, like, especially like tank stance back in the day was effectively defensive stance. And like a lot of the, I think like frictional aspects of like WoW that were just fucking annoying were actually in Final Fantasy. Yeah, they were actually in Final Fantasy, and they got taken out. My understanding is primarily in Heaven's Ward, and then more so in Stormblood. Whenever they realized that, like, well, these are just like vestigial systems that we really don't need anymore.
To start with, because they were the game we aspired to be. He also rebutted the idea that they are now the best, saying, if I was that type of guy, we'd miss our footing on the way, and 14 wouldn't be loved by so many people.
Right.
Class act. And for Final Fantasy XIV's success, it is a very recognizable MMORPG format. When I gave it a go, I found it very intuitive. Your tab combat, cast your spells, you get quests.
I think also another thing is, like, if you play World of Warcraft, you can transition over to Final Fantasy easy. Like, it is an easy transition. Like, you change a handful of settings to make them a little bit the same as WoW, and you can just go and play that game. And, like, you compare that to Lost Ark. Lost Ark is a completely different paradigm, right? You have a fixed...
Man, listen, also, I tried to transition when servers were, like, bogged down due to Endwalker, and, like, I couldn't get in due to, like, the queues being so long. I tried to transition over from Final Fantasy. You know, I tried to play other things, like Elder Scrolls Online. I gave it a shot. It's hard. It was hard. After a couple of... Man, the combat was so wonky, man. And that should give me PTSD, man. I don't know how you guys do it. I mean, I want to get into that game, man, but I wish I could change. I wish I could build the layout so it was more accustomed to to Final Fantasy. I wish I could.
Fixed camera. You have, movement that's very defined. Like, it's not the same. Not the other way around, though. No, I think it is. Like, if you play Final Fantasy, you go over, you play WoW, it's basically the same fucking thing. Like, I actually think that it's about the same. Like, and I'm not talking about, like, oh, yeah, but what about weak auras? Like, yeah, of course that's different. But, like, Final Fantasy has, like, fine-tuning as well. Like, I mean, just for an average person.
If anything is significantly different, it's the volume of RPG or story which is absolutely unloaded upon you. Though it does make the transition from one popular MMO over to another that bit easier, which I'm sure is a benefit. And at this point in time, Final Fantasy XIV has totally exceeded expectations of creating their WoW. I think we can say that. But much like WoW in its current format, I think the building blocks are going to keep piling up on top of each other rather than us experiencing a totally new project. Something fresh, something feels a bit next gen. Sometimes a game just defines a genre. It puts the building blocks there that will be the foundations of many to come, even to the point of the genre being named.
It's like Modern Warfare 2 was like that. Halo 1 was like that. You know, this is like kind of what we talked about before. Mario 64 was like that. There were a lot of games that, like, as soon as this game comes out, GTA, like, that was it, right? Unreal Tournament was huge. I feel like That game kind of fell
After
off.
the game that did so, roguelikes are so called because of the game Rogue from the 1980s. Metroidvania games are a combination of elements found in Metroid
That's a really
and
good point,
Castlevania
yeah.
series. And if it's dark, gritty, and difficult, hey, we've got ourselves a Souls-like. And while we don't
That's-
call MMORPGs WoW-likes, thankfully,
I
a
never
lot
even
of them
thought
have
of that.
certainly tried
Yeah.
to be and have stuck loosely to the format that had driven World of Warcraft's incredible success between 2004 and 10. Though very few have reached that peak, many have enjoyed enough success to sustain a stable game that
True.
has been enjoyed by many worldwide.
True.
So where do we go from here? What would be the next step? We went from imagination to pen and paper to multi-user dungeons to 2D sprites and basic animations. Then we went 3D, more choices, better UIs.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest. I tell you where we going from here is gonna be VR, dude. I saw this one fucking clip. I think it was Soda Poppin'. I was watching
Bro.
Soda Poppin', and he was watching these two cat girls get it on at a VR club, and then Lakari comes in, and I was kind of getting turned on. And then Lakari comes in and just fucking, like, I was not turned on anymore. Because, like, Lakari came in and honestly, he fucking ruined it for me. I was so mad at him. But before then, shut the fuck up, bitch. Like, I'm talking about, this is a real thing. And so, it's like,
What the
he came
fuck?
in there, fucking ruined it. And, like, there were these two cat girls that were getting it on with each other. And Rob wants you on the dating show. I know I've got to get back to him. But anyway, like, I think the next big step, I think that, like, maybe a game like Ashes of Creation has the potential to do that. But the next paradigm shift, I think, will happen in VR. I think it has to, because that's the next level of escapism.
More open world. Then we improved on that format.
But I mean, how would we implement that with VR? I mean, that's my thing. I mean, that's a lot of fucking walking. I mean, unless we like fast travel, we would have to implement flying. I mean, because we are nowhere near like Ready Player One type of, VR, like integration type of, escapism. So if we're talking VR, I like the concept. Don't get me wrong, I like the concept, but bro, even right now, man, like there's a lot of walking and a lot of in a lot of MMOs. Hell, I think I saw a recent video from Asmongold that said, I think, what was it, in the next expansion from WoW, I think it's going to take like 100, I could be getting this wrong, like 100 hours or something like that to unlock flying in a Pacific region or something like that. Bro, if we implement that into walking, how would you calculate that into hours or days? I don't know how we would do that, but that's a lot of fucking walking. and of course it wouldn't really be walking in a room per se. I don't believe so. But how would we do that? Again, I've never played VR, so if you guys have, let me know. How would that work in an MMO? I don't know.
Tenfold. MMORPGs look incredible these days, but that sense of the past, the thing that's kind of deep-rooted that's holding them back, has always existed. Such as collect, kill, and quest. It's not that they should be removed, but iterated on somewhat. Something new and truly amazing. It would be a game that you could see going for years and staying strong. Being able to answer the interests of a variety of activities in the game. Having a world which is not static, but unpredictable and constantly changing. Your actions having real consequences to both you and others. Have a world which feels as though it's actually a breathing entity, where your character will be thrown or sidetracked into a number of different activities each day, without you having any clue what they'll be when you log in.
I actually saw, I think that really what an MMO, like WillE's talking about some shit. I think he's talking about real shit, like, number one. But number two,
I think that was a spoiler.
Is that I think an MMO, the only thing the game really fucking needs is for the game, for people to feel good about logging on. The fact that, like, people can have an experience logging on, like a social experience. Like, Final Fantasy, I think, is just, it's the leader in MMOs. Like, I'm not, like, WoW does a lot of things better than Final Fantasy. I'm going to be honest. But shared space and experience and social environment, Final Fantasy is so fucking far and above WoW that it makes me go back to Goldshire Inn and want to say, have you heard about, you know, Final Fantasy, the award-winning game? Because I feel bad for these people posting up with MyRP3 links to fucking, you know, some picture
Damn.
of a Draenei female with like a 17-inch dick. It's like, man, you could have a character that looks like that in Final Fantasy. You don't need to pretend anymore. You can go over there and play it yourself.
Yes.
Like, it's just, it's
come
so
on over, bro.
far and above.
Come on over.
Nothing,
Once we open the gates, you can come on over.
That's why Final Fantasy is so successful with like casual players, especially.
It's all right over here.
That it gives people that,
come on over to the promised land.
The Void Bunnies.
Where every day is bright and beautiful and full of cat girls and bunny girls in skimpy outfits.
It's dark. There is currently one
beautiful, bro.
Somewhere into the
beautiful,
but it's a long, long way off, and of course that's ashes of creation. The fact
go to
that
Limsa, man. I'm telling you. Go to Limsa and just sit
it's
there.
Funny to me that, like,
and you'll
WillE,
cry
like, I should probably get
in
WillE
pure
on
happiness.
Just like maybe bring him on stream and talk. Like, he and I are on the same wavelength with this kind of shit. Like, I say something, then he says it right after that. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. It could be that Pantheon 2, I'm going to be honest with you. Pantheon sucks. The sad reality with Pantheon, and I really do mean sad reality, is that they lost their visionary of the game. There was a guy who was the visionary for the game. What was his name? EverQuest legendary developer. Guy died. Brad McQuaid. Yeah, Brad McQuaid was like he was the Steven. Right, where the Ash of the Creation, Steve. He was the guy that was heading Pantheon creatively, and he fucking died. Like, that's so sad, right? To lose somebody, like, it fucking sucks. Died not finishing his game. He did finish his game. He has a legacy in EverQuest, and nobody can ever take that away from him.
Damn.
So don't feel bad about it, right? But at the same time, I don't really see Pantheon going anywhere.
Transparency and depth of in-game systems, even at this early stage, it shows a lot of promise, and I think it will, very importantly, take a self-funded project to truly pull off something next gen. No big studio appears to be taking that risk, or
that
if they
sucks,
are, they
man.
just aren't able to follow through on it enough. And this whole video isn't to say the entire MMORPG market is in an absolute state at the moment. In fact, I think it's been a while since there's been this many different MMOs which are worth your attention. If anything, WoW falling down some led players to discover that actually there are some alternatives out there, but nothing that I think will truly break the mold.
No. Final Fantasy has innovation in terms of like shared spaces and player housing and social environments. I think that it has genuine innovation that is meaningful. But like, other than that, Final Fantasy is just, it's like Halo 3. Like, Halo 2, for its time, was, in my opinion, way more innovative than Halo 3. But Halo 3 was a way better fucking game, because it took everything that Halo 2 did, and it did it better. Like, that's what happened. Halo 3 is ago. Like, if I went back and I wanted to play a Halo game, I would play Halo 3. Well, I play Infinite now, but, like, I would play Halo 3. But, like, Halo 2, for its time, was infinitely more groundbreaking than Halo 3.
It's not the genre isn't going anywhere. Nobody's really tried yet.
No.
Do let me know your thoughts down below, and as always, thank you all so much.
And that's what's so exciting about now, is that now you see a lot of people who are trying to get into the MMO space.
Right.
You see, like, Riot is trying to get into the MMO space. you see Ashes of Creation, you see New World. And like, I remember I even saw like what really is a metaverse. A metaverse is basically an MMO where everything's expensive. I actually saw a clip of an event that happened on the metaverse, and I wanted to go back to playing King's Quest. That's how bad it was. Oh my God. Oh my God, what a disaster. But it's coming, man.
Watching and listening in, and I shall see you on the next one.
WillE makes great videos. He's a classic WoW player. He's a good guy. I like him. So if you guys want to give him a follow, give him a sub, give him some support, that's his channel right there. And you guys can keep up with him. But yeah, I'll read a few I want to read a few comments about this. Best experience you ever had in MMOs whenever you know nothing about them and everything single thing is a discovery. True, man.
Yeah, like that was good, man. Like I learned a lot.
For WoW was
that was cool.
Simplicity. I think that it was a lot of things. WoW was it was a perfect storm for WoW, definitely. I think at the moment, general gaming is falling prey to much of the rest of the world. Corporate interests are superseding innovation and art. Apparently, this guy watches superhero movies. Holy fuck. Like, apparently, I've heard that the new Spider-Man movie is actually Liddy on a stack, and I might actually watch it. Okay? But let's not confuse ourselves here. Man, like, I would love to see a little bit more innovation in movies. I feel like I watch the same movie like every 5 years or so. Like it's like the same thing comes out. It's like the same thing again. Like what? Like come on, man. Like let's get some new shit out there. Like it's like, oh well, this is how do you make a movie now? Well, you take an old movie and you play on people's nostalgia for it, and then you make the new movie. Plenty of good movies out there. Yeah, and the thing is, like,
I mean, but that's the thing about making movies. I mean, especially superhero movies, is that they're so hard to do. How would you create that? Like, I mean, everything under the sun has been done, bro. I mean, I think that's why Endgame was so popular, because it takes that idea of superheroes and it takes that aspect of, okay, the hero always wins, and it flips that on its head. Like, no, bitch. This time the villain wins, and not a lot of movies show that. And I think that's why Endgame. No, not fucking Endgame. Infinity War. Wait, no. Yeah, Infinity War. I think that's why Infinity War was so good. Because Thanos won at the end of the first one. Yeah. See, they made so much fucking movies. Yeah, Infinity War. Part 1. That thing, Part 2 was called Endgame. Yeah, if I'm remembering that shit correctly. Make so much fucking movies now. See, it's all the same, like Asmon said. But in the one that fucking Thanos won. Infinity War. I'm pretty sure it's Infinity War. I'm pretty sure I got it over there, but I don't want to look. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Infinity War. But yeah. But it's hard to do superhero movies. And I'm a fan of comics. But it's also hard to implement movies from comics. So it's like, I don't, how do you do that? How do you fucking do that?
I actually haven't watched a lot of movies recently. I mean, like I have and I haven't, right?
It's hard.
I feel like a lot of you guys, I stopped watching movies in about 2010, like all the time. Like before then, I had a huge, like a thing of DVDs.
Yep.
Same. And
Me too.
I think that I know why. I really think that I know why. It's because Blockbuster went out of business. And you would go
Bro, you guys see this? You guys see this case? This is nothing but DVDs. All this? Straight DVDs, bro. DVDs and bootlegs. Bro. Hell, now that I think about it, I need to look through that thing. Maybe that Vanilla WoW CD is in there.
Talking and TV got better. And that's like, again, kind of what I was talking about before, about how making developments and innovation with like CGI, and how CGI is more accessible. I think that's one of the reasons why TV shows got better. Now, obviously, does that explain Breaking Bad? No. But it does explain something like Game of Thrones. I hope new good MMO comes out. I don't want anything radically different, just a completely new package. I think it depends. Problem with MMO innovating is it costs so much to make, and to innovate is to take a risk. Out some in the next few days. It's like a full loot PvP MMO. It's a small audience, but it's important that innovation happens. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a niche game, but that's not bad. Yeah, like, I'm not saying y'all should play it or whatever. I'm just saying that it is impactful. That's it.
Alright, that was good. Oh. Shit, I think my shit froze. Oh, there he goes. Caught up. Alright, that was cool, man. I learned a little bit. Wow. Yeah, man, the future of MMOs, they're evolving. I think it's that social aspect I think a lot of companies are getting involved with, man. But it's interesting. It's interesting, and they're definitely gonna prey on people, because they're gonna exploit it for every single dime and penny they can. And they're gonna dig into your wallet. They're really gonna dig. But wow, it's gonna be interesting. What Microsoft does with WoW. I don't know if they're gonna try to save it. I mean, of course they're gonna try to save it. I mean, they invested in it, but how they're gonna do it, I don't know how. But this video has been long enough. If you guys want to see more of me reacting to Asmongold, reacting to other things, this has been layers deep. You already know what to do. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Guys, have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.